WrestleMania is the showcase of the immortals, the granddaddy of them all, the one place that makes Disneyland look like a stroll through Walmart in comparison. Since the first WrestleMania debuted at Madison Square Garden in 1985, many manias have featured a litany of legendary matches and the who's who of the wrestling business. Whether it be the Heartbreak Kid and Bret Hitman, Hart's plusating 60-minute Iron Man marathon at WrestleMania 12, The Rock and Hulk Hogan's Icon versus Icon skirmish at WrestleMania 18, or Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's pure wrestling bout at WrestleMania 3, there are countless contests to savor and pour over as fans of pro wrestling. With WrestleMania being an annual event, of course, it's also allowed numerous rematches to take place. Sometimes they could be back-to-back contests, such as the infamous Undertaker and HBK Showstoppers, and could also feature a 13-year gap like the brutal clashes between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Whichever way, the wrestling community has received the opportunity to see several second rounds, and even third between performers throughout Mania history. The second time is a charm in the case of many rematches. However, there are also more than a handful that failed to outshine the original matches. So, let's take a look back at the best and worst WrestleMania rematches of all time. Best: Undertaker vs. Shawn Michaels. The Undertaker's fabled streak will long be remembered as a fundamental part of WrestleMania history, and something that kept fans wondering if a wrestler had it in them to defeat Deadman. Truth be told, there were only a handful of occasions where it seemed even remotely likely that he would be beaten by the chosen opponent. When the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels stepped at WrestleMania 25, it seemed a real possibility that Mr. WrestleMania would be the one to superkick the streak and keep it down for the 3 count. Michaels came up short in the end, but the match stole the show and earned both men the plaudits from the audience and wrestling community. A year later, they decided to go at it again. This time around, though the stakes were higher, The Undertaker puts his streak on the line while HBK did the same with his career. Surely Michaels would get the win here, especially since he was such a huge part of the roster and didn't look like he was slowing down in the ring. The two men put on another classic wrestling match as they kept the audience on tenterhooks for 24 minutes. With the momentum shifting in both directions and proving to be masterclass storytelling, however, it was the Deadman who came out on top, pinning Michaels and forcing him to retire, as they created one of the most legendary Mania moments. Worst: John Cena vs. The Rock. Whenever a match is promoted, common sense says don't believe any of the claims from the promoters. In the case of The Rock vs. John Cena at WrestleMania 28, it was billed as once in a lifetime. It made sense too, since The Rock was one of the biggest movie stars in the world, so the chances of him and Cena locking horns again would have been minimal at best. The Rock defeated Cena after a 30-minute bout, put on his shades and headed off to Hollywood to beef with Vin Diesel about Fast and Furious. Now imagine the surprise of fans when once in a lifetime actually turned out to mean once a year. At the following Mania, Cena and The Rock faced off again, with the Doctor of Thugonomics claiming the victory and title from the Great One. Yet, here is the thing: CM Punk had been on a hot streak champion, only dropped the title to The Rock at that year's Royal Rumble. Many felt this was disrespectful to Punk, since he had been the face of the company for a prolonged period of time, yet the title was put on The Rock, a part-timer, to add extra flavor to his bout with Cena. Unfortunately, besides the undoubted star power of The Rock, this wasn't a rematch that anyone really wanted to see. Punk, however, had the best match of that WrestleMania's card versus The Undertaker.